All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more video. So we have finished piecing together our postcard and done all the detailing that you're going to want to do to this, because once we sew it onto our postcard, you're not going to be able to do much after that. So what I'm going to do is I have taken my postcard here and I have figured out where I want to place it, which is right about here on my fabric swatch. Okay, and I have pinned it also, here we go, twice to make sure it doesn't slip around. And I'm also pinned it close to the center of the postcard, so when I sew on the sewing machine, it's going to stay out of the way of those pins. Okay, now what's different about yours is that you actually have real postcards, so you will sew the front of the postcard onto the front of your fabric, and you'll see the actual postage area, the part to write on will be this right here facing us. Okay, so don't forget that part. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and put this into my sewing machine with the card facing upwards. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit if I can. There we go. Put that presser foot down. Don't forget, that's the most important part. I'm just going to do a straight running stitch. You don't need to back up for this necessarily because the poster board is going to hold that stitch pretty well, but it's always a good idea to do reverse, so we'll reverse it. Now look at, I'm going to follow the line with the edge of this foot. You see that? And I got to keep it nice and even here, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward, keeping it straight and going slow. When I get to the corner, I'm going to put the needle into the card. I'm going to lift my presser foot up, twist the card towards me, put my foot back down, and carry on. So I'm just going to keep on coming down. And I would do that all the way around. So I'm going to back up here. Lift up my presser foot, slide this out to the left. If it gets stuck, I'm going to wiggle the needle up and down as I pull off to the left. Make sure I cut all of my strings nice and flush here. There we go. Okay, so I have something like this. Oops, get that off of there. Okay, so now before I'm done, the last thing I have to do here is I need to trim off the excess fabric around the outside of my postcard. I can remove my pins now because it's sewn onto the card. I'm going to take my scissors, a good pair of large ones, and I'm just going to go ahead and follow the edge of the postcard here and cut it nice and straight. Just going to cut right through my stitching there. So I have something like that. Look at that, nice and clean. All those uneven edges doesn't even matter anymore. Okay, so I'm going to do one more thing on the sewing machine. I am going to swap my dial here to a zigzag stitch, and I'm just going to pull that over to here. I think I'm going to leave my setting at a 3. And also, if you can see up here, my stitch length is at a 3 as well. We're going to try that and see how that goes. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this into my machine, and I'm going to line up the presser foot so that half of my fabric is on and half of my fabric is off. Do you see that? It's actually going right down the center there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and forward and backwards. Forward, backwards. I'm going to go ahead and zigzag all the way down to the bottom here. I don't need to worry about pinning because it's already attached to the fabric. This is just a finishing. When I get to the end, Make sure my needle is in the fabric, twist and turn it. Make sure the needle is in. Oops, I ripped the thread. Oh, I'm out of thread. Okay, darn it. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. That's just a nice edging there to keep it from fraying. It's a nice finishing touch. And I would do that around the whole edge here, so it would look like that on the other side. A zigzag stitch. Sorry guys, I ran out of thread. But that's what you're gonna do to complete the project, and then that's it, we're done. And hopefully you feel really comfortable using that sewing machine after this. And you guys can add more if you like, that's up to you, but we're gonna start our project probably tomorrow or on Wednesday. Okay, all right, or on Thursday, I guess. All right,